Hello everyone, my name is Tenisha Senior. I am your Community Engagement Intervention Specialist, also known as Boots on the Ground. So what I do is I work with in the juvenile justice sector with the youth, and I don't even like to refer to the youth as juveniles. I say that so that people know what sector I am involved in. However, I call the young men that I train and help to grow into the manhood in which they should as kings. And as you can see my emblem down here, Crowning Kings Consulting. And I'd also like you all to log on with me on my website because that's where I'll be maneuvering this session through. My website is www.crowningkingsconsulting.com, just like it sounds, Kings with an S. Again, www.crowning, CROWNING, Kings, KINGS, Consulting, CONSULTING.com. So what you have here is the first page. I am Tenisha Senior. You can reach me at Tenisha Senior, TENISHASENIOR at yahoo.com. That information is also at the bottom of the website. You can email me, you can book me for facilitations, and so forth. So that's the logistics. We have to get past that, so thank you. And now I'm going to go into what it is I do. So what I do is I provide youth with a core skill, if you will, and the skill refers to self-identity. This is under the social and emotional learning umbrella. However, I include faith. Two factors that I also incorporate in my training is you have to know who you are, which my training is called Who Am I? You have to know who you are, because if you don't, two things will happen. Someone will tell you who they want you to be or make you who they want you to be. So I implement and facilitate a training. This is the training. It is called Who Am I? And what this training is it is a critical and analytical approach to decision-making skills involving conflict. We do this through role play and case studies. So I do this within the detention centers, within the jails, with the youth, and we have the receptivity is awesome. It's great. And the young men seem to really respond to this training. Now, I'm going to maneuver through. There is an actual video on the website. When you look in this, it's under let me see, CKC, which is Crowning Kings Consulting, examines reality versus recidivism. Recidivism is the returning rate at which people who have been convicted return back to prison and or jail. And so I actually have this interview there. This is a video of an interview from one of the kings in which took my training, and you get better insight as to what's going on the other side for those of you who are unfamiliar with that territory. So you can watch that on your own, that video. What I'd like to talk about today is my services. So what I provide, again, is a training. Now, the training that I provide is based on a 6-week training. This training can be changed, and it can be a one day, it could be several weeks, it could be shortened, it could be lengthened, it could be accommodated based on the need of the class in which the training will be for. But we have a 6-week training, and what that 6-week training entails is critical and analytical thinking, the decision-making skills module, how those two incorporate with elements of self-identity, the different case studies, and the role play, also with the completion of a certification and gathering at the end, if you will. So again, this training can be it can be accommodated based on the need of the group which is requesting it, and based on the research and all the information that I did to create the training, I found that the 6-week course is a very it's strategically set up that way because what you find in this environment, population, and demographic is that trust is very important. And in order for this group to listen and to believe you, the trust factor has to be established. And sometimes that's often hard to do in an extreme short period. Now, if you're talking about seminars and different things, that's fine. But you can read along with the services as to what it is I provide. And then we want to talk about the curriculum and the actual trainings. So the curriculum is, like I said, set up for 6 weeks, and it's on a 3-day per week, 3-day, preferably consecutive. Again, that could be altered as well, but it's based on a 3-day consecutive 6-week period. So it's about 2 hours each class, and you start to just, you go through, you have pre-test, you have some evaluations, you have you're getting to know your participants, you're sharing stories, and this is all just building a rapport before you even get into the actual curriculum, which takes place more or less, it's taking place all throughout, but the second week and so forth. So this training is also just a common sense approach. And what I mean by that is we have a lot of, there's dress to impress or dress for success, there's skills setting, there's etiquette, there's parenting, there's all these different skills training, core job training, and initiatives for the young people to come out and to interact with and get involved with. But what I found in my research is that people are not getting to the core of the issue. And I believe that the core of the issue is knowing who you are, because we understand that if you don't, again, like I said, people will make you who they want you to be and or tell you who you are. And that often is problematic. You are not a criminal. If God sees you as a king, as a prince, you are not a criminal. You are not evil. You are not these things that society has put on and or your decision making has put on you. So these are still young children who are very much in their developmental stages. And we know that as a human being, we are psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, and physically put together. And if we don't incorporate the spiritual aspect of it, which is faith, and introduce these people to Jesus Christ and let them know whose they are so they can know who they are, we're missing a great element. Now, what I will say is, of course, we cannot force anyone to believe anything, but that is the premise and principle and foundation on which I teach. And I also let the children make their own decision. But even they have to analyze the construct of faith and determine where they stand in it, even if they are lacking in that area or unbelieving, such as atheist or agnostic. Because even at the very least, they have established somewhat of a foundation, if you will, for themselves on their faith principles. So we just have people out here not even incorporating and researching and going deeper to the depths of faith, and that is a major part of a person. So we have to get in there and even introduce faith to these young children so that they can begin to build their core foundation and so that they can be destiny driven. And that's what I encourage these young men to be, destiny driven. So when you leave this facility, you are about your destiny and the very reason in which you were created, not about getting a job. The jobs will come, but why were you born is where we need to start going with these young people. So that's the common approach that I take. And then again, we want to talk about, we talk a little bit about the implementation and the planning. You saw some seeds there on the picture right above this. And we know that with seeds, whatever you sow, you reap. And even as the world says karma, but we know in the word of God, it says whatever man soweth, so shall he reap. And that is very important. I need these young people to understand that when you sow seeds in good ground, and they will bear good fruit. And so we get into that, and it starts with their thought and those processes, and we let them know that it's not who made you mad, but it is who did you allow to make you mad. And if they can even begin to shift that thinking into that mindset of taking responsibility, they will begin to see the different choices they have even in decision making. A lot of these youth, which I find out, don't even feel as though they have choices in the decision making. They feel someone made me do it, I had to do it. And I get them to see that no, these are choices in which you chose to do, and there are always options around you. So this is the implementation and the planning. And then again, we have an evaluative and an evidence-based program. They do take a pre-test, two pre-tests in the beginning. They take post-test. These are both evaluated at the end to see if there's an increase or decrease with the knowledge and or even at the very minimum self-awareness of any growth in the process. And I analyze that as well in my findings. So I enjoy the work I do. I love the work I do. And it's just imperative that we approach this at the core, which is, who are these children? Who are they, and who are they meant to be based on the word of God? They are not criminals. They are not savages. They are not beastly, but they are children of the Most High King. And until we feed that into them, and until they start to believe it, they will not act that way. And so we have to feed that into them. We have to be their support system, both in and outside of those walls, because they need so much help. Some of them don't have family, or if they have family, it's very dysfunctional. So they're not supportive. They don't have what you think it is that they have or should have. So always keep that in mind. You're dealing with a different demographic, and they need your love and they need your support. So at the bottom, you'll see some information about me and my expertise, and some of the testimonials from the young children, and you can read that as well. And then moving forward, you can read my bio at the very end. So thank you very much for your time. I just wanted to give you a brief synopsis on the work that I do, the work that I am doing. I need your support. Again, you can reach out to me. Feel free to, question or get information about the facilitations and the trainings, and we can speak from there. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you so much.